Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Monday night live stream. It's good to see everybody here, and I hope you enjoyed the little intro video of me scuba diving with whale sharks. For those that didn't believe me, that was me with the whale sharks. I plan to edit that video at some point and post it on here. I've just been pretty busy. But yeah, good to see a bunch of new people. Newcomers is always good to see on the stream. Sorry, I wasn't able to do the live stream last week. My guest decided to not show up, essentially. He knows who he is, so that was exciting. Yeah, the Bears are playing tonight, but they suck, so I don't really want to watch them. Harkins, yep, that is the Georgia Aquarium that I went scuba diving with them, so that was really cool. Tonight's going to be more of a Q&A. I don't have a guest tonight. I'm going to go through what I've done with my Hydros, my opinion on the Hydros, things that might surprise you that I've done with it. Maybe I don't know, maybe they haven't, but it's been really fun to experience it over the last year. It's actually been more than a year. I got it in October, so it's been a while since I've actually used it, and I've gotten pretty darn good at using it, and that's going to be cool because I'm going to be able to discuss some of the cool things that I've done with it and go over some of the things I've done with it. Um, Let's see. I'm gonna look at the chat a little bit. So yeah, it's gonna be more of a Q&A type thing. I do have some things to discuss, but I do appreciate the questions. I am gonna be giving away a Hydros at the end of the stream, so please make sure that you've entered into the contest. And I'm giving out parts of my Hydros that I've already used, so that I don't need anymore because I've used so many different products. So for those that don't know, I do have a store. I do sell Hydros. I sell Neptune. I sell Aquaforce. I sell Focustronic. I sell a lot of different products at reefautomation.net. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out. So let's see. Any questions yet? Not yet, but I enjoy seeing uh, all the people that are um, that are usually on the channel, and also it's nice to see some of the new people. So that's awesome. Um, I did a small video back in, oh man, yeah, it was probably in October or so, um, and I did an Apex versus Hydros video, and I did definitely get to do a bunch of different things since then. They've come out with a couple new products since then that I've got to play with as well. Let's see. Can you use an auto pump with a carbon reactor? I would presume so. You could program the auto top-up pump to do whatever you'd like. Yes, the regulars, Joe. That's correct. All right, so let's go through a couple things. So I posted a picture of my new endeavor, which was TDS meters. I have been asking Neptune for what, 3 years to come out with TDS meters for their product. People don't realize how important that is to an automation or controller type system, especially if you're a complete nerd like I am. It's really nice to know what your TDS is so you know when to replace your filters, right? I don't see why that's such a big thing. I know people out there are going to say, well, Derek, they already have something. Yeah, they do. I mean, you can get a module and hook up a conductivity probe and get TDS, but that's having to reinvent the wheel. That's not just a plug and play type thing. Does each purchase come with a free session of help? No, it does not, Scuba JT. Well, does Hydros play with third-party equipment such as the Tunes Auto Top Off? Yeah, I mean, we'll go over that a little bit. I don't know all the specifics. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. I'm just going to go through kind of what I've done more on the programming side. I've been asking Carlos from Coral View to come on to talk about a lot of technical type stuff. but I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. So I put the TDS meters in, and now I have the ability to know when my filters are needing to be replaced, which is fantastic. However, I did have to buy a whole new controller. I couldn't just hook it up to my Apex, which was sitting right there, right? I had to get two TDS meters, which aren't cheap. I think they're $50 a piece. And for those that don't know, even though I'm a seller of the product, I don't get the stuff for free. I still have to pay for it. I get a little bit of a discount, obviously, but I still have to pay for it, and they're $50 a pop. So you got two $50 products. Then you have to buy the controller, which is $100. So just to get TDS, we were talking about $200, right? Now, I was able to hook this thing up within, I would say, 10 minutes. Like, it was the easiest thing. You just plug in the power, you plug in the TDS, um, and you're done. I mean, that's really it. There's really not much more to it. So let's go through some of the things that I experienced with the TDS meter. That I did reach out to Carlos about this morning because I was just curious before I started talking about it. One of the things about the TDS meter is it comes with two prongs. It comes with a prong, you could put before a filter and a prong after the filter, right? But what I didn't realize is that it only uses the first prong. It doesn't use the second prong. So the second prong is strictly for monitoring, whereas the first prong can be used for alerts and programming type things. Um, and I didn't really, I don't know. You're buying a TDS meter, right, with two prongs, but you really only are allowed to use one prong. Let's just be honest with it. So even though I had the four prongs, I'm only getting sensing from two of those in terms of programming and use, if that makes sense. Reefing with O, did you have to buy the controller because you ran out of sense board? No. So I had to buy the controller because it's in my garage, nowhere near any of my other equipment. I didn't want to run a wire, and I was like, I just have an XS, right? And you just pop it on the wall, plug in the sense ports, and you're done. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. Um, but anyway, with the TDS meters, that's the only thing I was confused by is it doesn't work on all four prongs. It only works on the first prong. Um, so if you give me a moment, I had this pulled up earlier. Let's go back to here and go back to Coral View Hydros. Yeah, Billy Reefer. Yeah, winning the Hydros. It's just fun to play with it, you know. I've really enjoyed having the time just messing with it and trying to do interesting things. Where is it? Hydros. There we go. Someone asked if I ever have connection issues. You know, I haven't had any connection issues whatsoever with my Hydros. Then again, I have a very good network in my house. That's something that um, I do for a living. So it is something that I pride myself on, obviously, my networking. I'm trying to see if it'll let me do this. We tried to do this the other day and it didn't work very well. Nope. No, it won't let me do that. Uh, okay. So, yeah, JB Aquatics, I was kind of mentioning that earlier. You can view it or monitor the second TDS meter, but you can't actually use it for programming. That's what I meant by it. Um, so, let me see if I could try it this way. Come on. Come on. Work. I don't know why it's not working. Gotta love technology, right? When you want something to work. Try one more time. Will it graph this second program? Yes, it will graph it. You are able to see it. So I really do like that part of it. Let's see, secondary display. I don't know why this isn't working. You guys see my desktop, but no picture. Oh well. All right. So with the TDS meters, what I really like about them is I took if you go on my Instagram or you go on my Facebook, I did post a picture of it, and I just put them in yesterday, so I haven't really played with them much. But what I really like is it's a nice display with big letters to indicate what your TDS is, which is fantastic. And the best part about it is it's lit up. So one thing I've always hated about my TDS meters that I've always had to put in, um, my system when I have an RO system is those little tiny displays that are monochrome, and you can barely read them, especially for people that have bad eyesight like I do. This has a nice bright indigo type look. It's really easy to see it. You can see your TDS just walking by, but there's a caveat. And this is the one thing that I explained to Carlos this morning, and I really hope that they fix this, is it times out the power for some reason. So when you push the button, you can see it, but then after like I think it's like 5 minutes. I have to count it. I don't know. The display turns off, and then you have to go over there and you got to hit it again. And I wish that could just stay on all the time because it is getting powered by the Hydros brain, so it's not like it's draining battery or anything. Um, so that was something I noticed that would be really nice if people here, I'm sure, have RO systems and they just want to know their TDS. Well, of course, I can just pull out my phone and look at the Hydros app and give you my TDS at any point in time, right? Which is what I'll do because my computer is acting up today. So if I go in here, I don't know if you could see it. Let me back up a little. My camera sucks. Anyways, it says TDS meter. Let me, there you go. So obviously on my TDS meter 1, I have to replace my filter soon. But on my TDS meter 2, which goes to my other filters on it, my DI and my other thing, they're at 0. And it will alert you when you can set up the alerts just like any other thing on Hydros, right? You can set it up to alert you whenever it gets very high, very low. I thought this was flipping awesome. This is probably one of the coolest things I have. It's so minuscule and minute, but it's so cool to have because for someone that makes as much water as I do for all three of my fish tanks and for my reptiles and for my misting system and for everything in my house, having the ability to know that my TDS, what it is, and get an alert is just phenomenal. And again, I know this stream's about Hydros, but Neptune, I hope you guys come out with this at some point. It would really make a big difference for people. So anyway, let's see. I'm gonna go back to the chat. Let's see. Are they afraid it would burn out? I mean, yeah, I guess Hasted said it could burn out the LEDs. Maybe there's a way to. I don't know. I wish there was a way to control it somehow. Maybe I can control it with like a motion detector or something crazy. Uh, yeah, that's a good point, JB Aquatics. You can calibrate the TDS probes if they are off. I don't believe there's a limit of TDS meters. Just depends on how many sense ports you have, right? Um, Thank you, OU812. I try to give out as much detailed information as I can. I mean, that's why I pride myself in this channel to teach people. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going back in the chat. Just give me a second. Battle OCR, thank you so much for the super chat. I didn't even see it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. He's awesome. He came by my house. He got to take a look at everything. Let's see. If you asked a question earlier, go ahead and just re-ask it because I'm going to go through the chat again. Um, you absolutely, Dave, can control a solenoid based off of the TDS. So that brings me to my next point. So for those that don't know that are maybe new to my channel, I have ventured into the reptile hobby, actually hardcore. I've been so busy. I built an outdoor enclosure with heaters and misting pumps and all kinds of crazy stuff, and there's full automation in there as well. However, I've been using my other HYDROS because I actually have two HYDROS systems, and I have another HYDROS system actually on my Nano, but that's maybe for later we can discuss it. But I have three HYDROS systems running, all separately. Um, but the the greatest thing I was able to do with the HYDROS, and this is something I wanted to discuss with you guys, is the fact regardless of my opinion on wireless, right? My opinion on wireless has always been the same and it will never change, right? And that is anything that's wireless is prone to fail, in my opinion. So I would never personally, I would never put, a return pump on a wireless switch. That's just how I am, right? Um, I just would never do it. Again, you guys can probably do it and be successful. I personally would never do it. So on my reptile room, um, I decided to put a HYDROS in there, mostly for learning. I wanted to learn about the HYDROS, and of course, it would cost me more money than I make in years to replace my entire Apex system, which I've had for over 10 years with a HYDROS. It would cost upwards of I don't know how much money. It probably cost like $10,000 to $15,000 to replace all that. So not going to do it. But I wanted to get a HYDROS because I thought it was easy. This was the coolest thing I've done. Some of you might not think it's cool. Some of you might think it's cool. I think it's awesome. The fact that I was able to buy an X2 controller. Now, for those that don't know what X2 controller is, it's a very simple controller. It's got two drive ports and two sense ports. And all I'm using it for is remote solenoids. So literally what I was able to do without running a single, this probably took me, I'm going to say 10 minutes to do, which is phenomenal, by the way. I have two solenoids now that control my misting pumps for my reptile room. So what I'm able to do is part of my reptile room on one mister, I have going into a splitter with the two solenoids, right? One solenoid's controlling this part of the room, one solenoid's controlling this other part of the room, and all I had to do was get an X2, plug it in, two solenoids, plug it in, I was done. And now I can program my solenoids and my misting pump to come on and mist whenever I want in the room, however I want, whenever I want. And for those that aren't familiar with reptiles, you have to be very careful about how you mist to keep the humidity proper. And I was like, I could probably do this on Neptune, but I'd have to run Aquabus cables into another room. I'd have to go in the attic. I'd have to run USBs. I'd have to get that all connected. Then I'd have to program it. This I just plugged in and it was done in about 10 minutes. I mean, I was so impressed. And then because I was feeling extra special, I put a smart plug for the lights in there. So now my entire reptile room is controlled by the HYDROS. And I thought it was very fascinating because of how easy it was, right? Do you measure the humidity? No, they don't have any humidity sensors, but even if they did, they would all have to be wireless for me to even use it because I'm not running wires into all of my tanks in there. It would take me hours on end. I did post a picture on Instagram. You guys can take a look later of my Crestron system that I programmed for my humidity sensors, which was pretty cool. Yeah, Chris Hinley also asked about, yeah, absolutely, you can use it to control heat sources. So anyway, I know this is a reefing channel, but I did want to mention that the use for my HYDROS has been second to none, and I couldn't imagine it being any different on a reef tank. I really am. I wasn't super impressed until I started to really work with it. Let's see. Producer Reef, I kind of mentioned that just a little bit earlier. I love the fact that the controllers are wireless. I love the fact that I could put a wireless anything, essentially. I could put a wireless solenoid, a wireless TDS meter, anywhere in the house without having to run a bunch of wires. And I think that's awesome. Um, let's see. Yeah, he has humidity sensors for the HYDROS. Like I said, unless they're wireless, unless I can actually, which I have now, I have these little boxes. They're about an inch by an inch, and I put them inside the tank without any wires. I'm happy. Otherwise, it would just take too much work. Um, ran a Christmas tree off a HYDROS plug. Yeah. The fact, and again, I'm going to keep on mentioning the fact that everything is wireless is not a hindrance whatsoever. I think it's fantastic for certain situations. But again, I do think I would never put anything that's mission critical on a wireless power bar or wireless smart plug ever. Um, some juicy cry. Manny's Reef, thank you so much for the super chat and some juicy cockroaches. Yeah, fun. Uh, but yeah, Colt just had a good comment here. I think Neptune would be good with some wireless. Again, I completely agree. I would highly recommend that Neptune comes out with something that is wireless. It doesn't even have to be. It could just be a wireless like control piece that allows you to plug in something into it. That's important, right? MX Dirtbag 2 asked if there's anything I don't like. I'm going to go through that. I want to start out with all the positives first. Uh, Yeah, hey Sid, I plan on doing a video at some point on 0 to 10 volts. During this time, I've said this a few times on my streams, but December, January are my busiest time of year in the retail business as, you know, as now a retail seller of aquarium products, but also my main business, which is home automation systems. This is the busiest time of year for me. So I'll get back to videos when everything dies down. Let's see. Yeah, Scuba, having strong wireless network is key. Again, I'm a network professional. This is what I do for a living. I've been doing it for 20 years. I install networks for a living along with my home automation systems. I've explained my network. If you go look at one of my networking videos, I think I did a live stream a long time ago about networking, and I think it's very informative because it explains why mesh networks are so terrible. So I recommend you taking a look at that and getting a better idea because this mesh networking thing is a fad, right? I consider it something similar to that of like 3D with televisions, right? Unfortunately, people are getting hyped and hooked by media and social media about mesh networks. And mesh is a bad way of doing a network in a home. And again, I explain this in my network ability, or I'm sorry, my network live stream. So I highly recommend you guys watch that, especially if you're looking at doing a HYDROS. Because if you want to do a HYDROS, you have to have a really good network in order for it to work really well. What do you recommend in old home plaster walls to improve Wi-Fi signal? So Sawyer, I'm going to always recommend wiring it. So, you know, if you have a good plaster guy, I would recommend ripping up the walls and running wires. I know it sounds horrible, but that's really the best way to do things is to hardwire your access points throughout your house. Um, let's see. Okay. What's going on, Vivid Creative Aquatics? Say hi, HIGH. Yeah, so JB Aquatics kind of said a really good thing here. A solid network makes HYDROS bulletproof. I can tell you in the year that I've had it, um, I have not had a single issue. I can't recall having an issue. There was one time that I had to roll back my programming because the program just like disappeared. But the fact that it's saved to the cloud, it took me, when I say it took me 10 seconds, all I did was push load backup and everything was back to normal. 5G, from my understanding, does not work with the HYDROS. 5G, 2.4G, it doesn't matter. Again, I explained this in my networking video, but 5G, you get a smaller, basically a smaller bandwidth, which is stronger and more is faster. But when it comes to HYDROS, the amount of information that's getting sent doesn't require a 5G network. Usually 5G is required if you're sending large files across the house. I mean, that's usually what 5G is good for. Also, if you have interference, so if you have a lot of neighbors that are on 2.4, 5 is on a whole different bandwidth. I'm sorry, a whole different channel structure, so you don't really have to worry about that. Let's see. Manny hasn't won that much, Dave. I know the people that have won a lot, though. Uh, okay, so we'll go over some of the cons, I guess. And yeah, Dave, thanks for the clarification. I recommend you highly watching my networking live stream. I explain all of this in great detail. Um, and there's, of course, tons of people out there, videos, things you can explain. MX Dirtbag, I do have their leak rope, and I will tell you that that is one of my favorite products before I got the TDS meters. So let's talk about some of the other things, right? Gary, I don't know much about the Wave Engine. I know JB Aquatics and Connor are on here. Maybe they can help you with that. I don't have the Wave Engine, so I don't really know much of it about it. Um, let's talk about some of the cons. One of the things I don't like about the HYDROS is the programming structure for more advanced things. Um, Now, I was able to figure it out. Don't get me wrong, right? I was able to figure it out. It took me a little while. As a computer programmer, I'm so used to if this happens, then this happens. Cause and effect is the key to programming. If this and this are happening, then do this. If I want this to happen and this to happen, then I have to do this, right? I found that with the HYDROS, those type of things, while they're possible, are difficult to make happen. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have two outlets, right? And I want them to both come on at the exact same time using a virtual switch of some sort, right? So let's say I have a button on the wall, or let's say I have not even a button. Let's say I have a button on my phone that says turn on light 1 and light 2, right? That's what I found to be the more difficult part of HYDROS is doing simple things like that, like adding multiple things to happen when you do one thing, which is why I made a video on Combiner because I found that to be the most difficult thing. So when I was doing my reptile room and I needed my misters to come on at certain times, I didn't want them to come on at certain times with other things because of how the wiring how the tubing is done. So I had to really program around it. And like I said, I want to show you guys, but unfortunately it's just not working tonight. But I had to program all these different outlets to do different things. While it is possible, that's where I think Neptune has a one up on them. Is I wish there was a way that they can make like a real custom programming, like having a form where it says advanced programming, which completely eliminates all the simple programming and lets you do line coding for people that are really advanced like I am. Now, I know that's a big ask, but that's what I'm so used to with Neptune, right? Neptune has the advanced feature that lets you type, you know, if this happens, then this happens. If this and this happen, then this happens, right? With HYDROS, like I said, they do have it, but it's a little more complex to get it going. Uh, so that's my only, I guess, gripe about it so far. I have nothing but great things to say about it. I haven't really run into anything where I'm like, wow. I guess the only other thing I guess I can complain about is the fact that the single smart plug takes up two plugs on a power strip. Where I don't know if I have one here. I had one earlier, but I have to use these little like adapter plugs to use it um, you know, on a power strip. So I wish they had something, you know, smaller, let's say. Um, Again, I'm still not a fan of the wireless power bar. I think that XP that's coming out is going to be a game changer. I am going to be selling it. I think I'm even taking pre-orders for it right now. I believe that's going to be a game changer by far. I'm really excited for that. So I'm really excited for that. Uh, what is Reefing with O saying? No, all I'm asking is the option. Let's see. Looking at some of the other things. When are you getting Mastertronics for sale? You know, Colt, I've been asking almost on a weekly basis because, of course, I want one. I am taking pre-orders for them, so you can order them, but I have absolutely no ETA. They told me end of November, and it's now almost the end of December, so who knows? Um, in comparison with the Apex Fusion, is the Hydros app easy and simple? It is super simple. Um, you know, I think I showed it a little bit earlier. I have videos on this as well, but there's a couple things about the app that I wish they could change, but it's just very minuscule things. I mean, I wish they had, the ability to maybe, I don't know, eliminate some of the areas here that aren't important. Like, I really just don't care about my bus voltage or my bus current, and I don't need to see that every time I pull the app up. It would be nice if there was just a app with buttons that says lights, boom, you know. And I have accidentally hid my outputs before, so again, my pre-orders work. Colt, you just order it on the website, and when it comes in, it gets shipped. You know. Reefing with O, I'm going to agree with you, but I'm not going to say much. Don't you think wholesale for the fact that it's easy? Don't you think the wholesale? I absolutely do believe that. I don't know if I don't know if I know you and Reefing with O are friends. I totally agree with you guys. All I'm saying is I wish there was an advanced section or the ability for people that maybe don't want to get a Neptune, maybe want to save some money and still have the ability to do just real basic advanced things. Like, again, doing two things at once is not as simple as you might think it is. Um, uh, yeah, I wish you could change the icons. That would be kind of cool. Uh, let's see. Sick and tired of waiting. Yeah, I totally agree. Paul, for a new reefer with a 20-gallon tank, which would you recommend? It really just depends, Paul, what you're trying to accomplish. I always tell people if they're looking at controllers, what do you want to do? Because I can tell you right now, the way that Hydros has been moving and in the direction that they're moving, you're going to be able you're going to be able to do things with Hydros soon enough, or they're going to come out with products that are just going to be absolutely amazing. So I wouldn't have said that a year ago. I wouldn't have said, "Hey, for a new tank, decide what you want to get because of what you're looking to do in the future." But right now, I think both of them have a great future. I know Neptune just got an influx of cash, so who knows? They might come out with some crazy cool stuff. They're going to have to keep up with Hydros, right? But Hydros is really stepping their game up. I'm really happy with what they've done. Uh, let's see. Wish they can change the options from open to close. Yeah, that would be cool. I totally agree with you on that one. That really confuses a lot of people. When I've had to teach people about, um, optical sensor or any type of sensor, even the leak sensors, right, are open and closed. It's like, okay, Hey, it's not as bad as GHL, which is if you have a leak sensor, it's like filter pump or something. Uh, yeah, so I think what was your name? I'm sorry, Jacob. Was it Jacob? I apologize. Oh, Paul. Paul, I think getting a Hydros, I think you're going to be really happy with it, but also getting an Apex, you're going to be really happy with it. But you have to look at the future and what you're going to want to do with it. That's what I tell people, right? I think if you look at, hey, I want to do this, 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 write down what you want to do, and then look at the pros and cons of each product. Is this going to be able to do this for me? If not, can I. I'll give you an example. This one I'm going to get a lot of pushback, but that's fine. The Hydros doesn't really have an auto tester, right? It's got a Mastertronic, right? Or an Alcatronic, which are both almost impossible to get. The Mastertronic costs $1,300, okay? The Alcatronic costs $1,000. Now, if you get the Alcatronic, which is a fantastic product, right? It's only going to test your alkalinity. If you get a Mastertronic, it's going to test everything, but it's going to use test grade kits, and it's still, I think the Alcatronic is the right way to go. If you get a Apex, right, you get the Trident, which is what, $600 retail. So I don't know. So if Paul, your 20-gallon tank, it doesn't matter what size your tank is, okay? I just want to mention that. Everyone says, well, I got a small tank, so I don't really need, I don't really need this expensive controller. Well, that's not true. I think Joe just said it. You might upgrade to a bigger tank one day and just want to move all your products over. But also, you might want to go nuts. I've seen people with my Nano. You guys should see the stuff I have on my Nano, right? But my point I'm making is, let's say all you're doing for your 20-gallon tank is, I want to monitor my alkalinity. So you come to me and you say, all I want to do is monitor my alkalinity. Well, you could just get an Alcatronic, that's $1,000, or you could get an Apex and a Trident, or you can get a Hydros and a Trident, right? There's a lot of different ways to skin the cat, but again, then you have to look at, okay, well, down the road, I want to measure my TDS on my RO system. Okay, well, currently Neptune doesn't have that ability, so I'm gonna have to do a Hydros, right? Or let's say I want a dosing pump that integrates with my Trident, right? I might want to go the Apex route. So I think it just depends on people's situations, which one they actually end up going with. Again, I have both of them because I'm lucky to be able to use one of them on my Reptile room, and I've had Apex forever. So I'm able to see both of them and see their flaws and their pros in both situations. I would never get a GHL though, and I've explained why in the past. Let's see. Someone was asking about the HANA auto tester kit or something. I've never heard of an auto tester kit. I know they have a master kit, which is just all of their colorimeters or something, right? Uh, yeah, so OU81 said he saw the Mastronic in his local fish store. Again, the Mastertronic is a great product. It's, in my opinion, and I know I'm going to get slack for this too, it's just a more, uh, let's say, a better reef bot. It's the same thing. I really want to get my hands on the Mastertronic. It's been impossible to get one, and really do a good review on it, but it's impossible to get. Um, but I have a feeling that the app works better, that there's all these great things that Jonas and Eric are doing over at Focustronic that makes it a better product than the Reef bot. But it is still doing the same thing that the Reef bot does. Yes, the Alcatronic does have a built-in doser. That's a good point, Connor. But again, if you are doing with dosing and you just need to get alkalinity, then yeah, just get an Alcatronic, right? Let's see. I'm stick with my KHG. I have a great support, and yeah, you've had those KHGs for a while, dude. I've never had one, but I've only heard good things about it. Um, I never tested the ion director reefing with though. I've kind of pushed away from GHL, to be honest with you. There's a number of reasons why I've pushed away from it, which I'm not going to get into details. If you want to message me, I can tell you. Um, I just I just have never been happy with their products, unfortunately. Um, HANA Master Tester is a single tester that can test all the tests. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, that's flipping cool. You know, I have a Reef bot and I have um, and Trident, so I've never had the need to test. And this is interesting to know is my tanks have been on overdrive or overdrive autopilot for so many months. I don't remember the last time I tested. Everything is doing so good. I was like, I don't need to test. I mean, I do test. The Trident tests for me, but that's it. Um, yeah, JB Aquatics, you have a small point there. Um, it doesn't it tests differently, but it's still the same thing. All it's doing is testing based on box kits. You know, it's still doing the same thing. It's just a better device at doing it. Callie, I'm not going to talk about the Reef bot, dude. Here, boom, boom. There you go. That's all we're doing for today. I've Callie, you might be new to this channel, but you watch my Reef bot reviews. Lee, you got your Sky today and you didn't buy it from me? Shame on you. HANA Master Tester is a neat idea, but also a great way to not be able to do more than one test at once. It's a good point. It's a really good point. Um, so anyway, like I said, I think, and I've mentioned this in the past, the Hydros can be more expensive. There goes my camera. I'm gonna catch it this time. Um, the Hydros can be expensive because if you add the Alcatronic, the Mastertronic onto here, and you add different things onto here, it can be really expensive. But then it can be really cheap depending on where you want to go with it, right? Um, Still waiting on that special Reef Bot video. Well, once I get a Mastertronic, you will have that special Reef Bot video. um, You know, it's funny. I invited my buddy Aaron on today. Um, you know, Desert Reef. Yep, I agree. Eric's mentioning it's called the XP, I think, or the X8. I can't remember, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for it. How far away the tank can you set up the Alcatronic? You know, I have this. This is an interesting question, Sawyer. I have this feeling about something. And some of you guys are going to disagree, but I believe that most stepper pumps can really work from very far distances, but the manufacturers state that they can't or that they need to be close or that they need to do. I think that's a bunch of BS, and I'm going to explain to you why. My Reef Bot, I have two of them. Yeah. My Reef Bot pulls water and pushes water very far. I pull my RO water from probably, I'm going to say 15 feet, and I also pull my RO water from like 30 feet, and then I push the waste right down the drain right next to it. But on their website, it says you can't be more than 6 feet away. So what I did is I cut the wire, I extended the wire or the tubing myself, and it's worked ever since. So to answer your question, I really think that most of these manufacturers, including the Trident, by the way, guys, I think most of these pumps can pump and do a good job at a reasonable distance. Okay, um, I would say let's just say 50 feet, right? I don't think it has anything to do with it Because if you look at all these tests, all of them, I've looked at the Reef Bot, I've looked at the Trident, I've looked at all of them. They all of them pull water until it gets to a certain point, and then it drains the water, right? So it's not going to ever take water that's new or not new. I mean, it's always going to drain the water. And even the Trident drains the water twice just to make sure. The Reef Bot, I think, drains it like 4 times before it does a test. Again, these are opinions. I don't know if there's any factual evidence, but I've never had an issue. So um, I think XP8 missed the boat on not having sense ports. I don't think it missed the boat on 0 to 10s. I think, imagine if that XP10 had one sense port or even two sense ports and maybe a pro port. That's a full on controller for a whole entire system, right? You can then have your temperature, you can then have your pH right, and then you could have like an ATO go off of some sensor, right? I think that's where they missed the boat. That's what I believe. But again, it's still a great product. Um, 321 Reefer, I have Mastertronics on pre-order. I would love to know where you have them on pre-order. Gary Cumbo, yes, you can use the Mastertronic with the Apex, but when you say use the Mastertronic, you can't take the information from the Mastertronic onto the Apex, but you can use it with it. It's not gonna, you know. I had a problem with Trident being high in some. Let me read this again. I had a problem with the Trident being too high from the sump. Okay. Yeah, again, I don't know because for me, my Trident takes water. I think it's like 5 feet away, so it's not that far. But again, with my Reef Bot and my what's the other product I have? Well, I have tons of different things pulling and sending water, and they all work just fine. When I had the Alcatronic, I actually had it in a whole separate side of the room that I was pulling the water from, and it worked great. The Bears Vikings game is a snoozer. Oh, go figure. I'm sure the Bears are getting just destroyed. Um, Absolutely, the XP8 and the X3 will cover most people. Like I said, if they put those two together, I think you'd have a really quality product that you can sell more of at maybe a little cheaper price. I don't know. Let's see. Uh, I saw you add for, yeah, you could pre-order the Mastronic from me, guys. I have no idea when I'm getting them though, so it's completely up to you if you want to send me money and cross your fingers that I'll get them. I just don't know when I'm going to get them. Uh, Wait for the X4. What's an X4? Am I thinking of something else? Yeah, I'm thinking of something else. Ignore me. I have Aquaforce Rock, Producer Reef, so you can always order it from me. Uh, yeah, I know the X4. I thought you said something else. I apologize. All right, let's see. I'm looking at some of the other questions here. So yeah, I gotta say, overall, I've been really happy with my Hydros. Um, I've put it through the ringer. I've tried different things. Again, it's the advanced type of stuff that are kind of not so intuitive. But again, this is coming from a programmer, right? For an average Joe out there that is not a programmer, I think the Hydros is fantastic, and I've been saying that for a year straight. Let me look at the contest. How many people did it even, let's see, giveaway. There it is. We have 42. Wow, 42 people entered the contest tonight. That's awesome. And we're going to be giving away a 4-plug power, an XS, I think I'm going to give away two level sensors, a probe, a temperature probe, and I think that's it, and a power supply, right? So again, it's a good starter setup, right? It's not going to give you any probes or anything because you need the more expensive device, but it's a good startup for most people. And again, you can add anything to it. That's great news. I love my. You could just send it to me. Yeah, see, Philly knows the way of winning in this contest. The more you say I want to win, apparently that's how people get picked. Do me right tonight. Uh, Actually, I have it in the garage. I forgot to bring it in here, the whole kit. But yeah, again, it's not new. I used it, but it's still, again, it's a giveaway. So what do you want? I think the I think the level sensor hasn't been used, and if I recall, yeah, the temperature probe also hasn't been used because I don't have anything to use the temperature probe with. Um, Yeah, I forgot it's gonna be Christmas this weekend, right? I will be doing a stream next week. Hopefully, my guest won't cancel on me this time. um, Auto top off your fireball? What? I haven't won in a long time, Lee. Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe Lee, you'd get like an extra ticket if you had bought the sky for me. Uh, Sawyer's asking if I've tried their dosing pumps. I presume you are talking about the HYDROS dosing pumps. And to answer your question, yes, I have used those exact pumps. And fireballs for basic. Oh, Kamor? Yeah, I have plenty of Kamor pumps I've used over the years. I've used the X1, the X4. I do have the FXP right now running my calc stirrer, which is awesome. I think Kamor has awesome products. I do sell Kamor, by the way, guys. So if you go on my website, I do sell Kamor. I love their products. I've always loved their products. I don't think Ecotech will ever come out with their own controller. And the reason I'm saying that, Mikey, is now that there's a conglomerate with Neptune and Ecotech, I just don't think it's going to happen. Buy from you to win from you? I don't know, because most people that have won from me have gotten free stuff from me. Speaking of bitches, where's Batfish? He was supposed to be here tonight, unfortunately. Did I see the new Kamor? Yes, I have it for sale. It is. I don't know if it's available yet, but I do have it for sale. Let's see. I know sometimes I don't look at the camera, guys, because of my chat. I wish maybe I can move the chat to like the center, but then I won't be able to see. Yeah, never mind. Who's BTK? Yeah, it is a rebranded Kamor pump, Sawyer. It's actually a pretty common pump. I believe that the Reef bot uses those same pumps, if I'm not mistaken. And the Mastertronic uses those pumps, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm basing that on just anecdotal visual looking at one. They all looked exactly the same. Uh, Batfish Killer, yeah, my man. He was on a couple weeks ago, I think. But yeah, I got to get him back on. But yeah, I love Kamor products, guys. I also sell Aquaforest. I love Aquaforest products. Aquaforest, I got turned on to Aquaforest from one of my friends, and I got to tell you, every product I've ever purchased from them has been top notch. I can't. I mean, all the test kits are really easy to use. Um, I was using their 123 product was just amazing. I mean, it really was amazing. My tank never looked better until I went to the calcium reactor, and obviously, calcium reactor has been a godsend for me. But man, I have Life Source. I told you I have Life Source. Just go on my website, and I have everything that they sell. Do you use Aquaforest salt? I do not use Aquaforest salt. I do use Tropic Marin. I've always used Tropic Marin. My thing about the component ABC, is fantastic. Talked like, oh boy. Gary Cumbo, I recommend anything from Aquaforest. I'm serious. I've been very, very happy with all of their products. The ABC, or yes, the ABC, right? Or 1, 2, 3. It's one of those. Is a balling type method of dosing, which is just fantastic. But yeah, I have. Let me see. I just put them on my website because I've always loved their products, and they have a lot of them. There's a lot of stuff they make, and I use I've used their test kits. I've used their salt. I've used um, let's see, the components. You know, Aquaforest is the other end of the scale from Reefbot. Yeah, so again, very very high on Aquaforce, but I sell all these products. I sell Reef Octopus. I sell all these products that I just haven't had time to put on my website, to be quite frank. Um, it's a lot of work. You got to put, I got to put the picture on there, then I got to put the price on there, then the description. And Aquaforest took me, I think, like half a day because I got so many products. But Reef Octopus is coming up next. Again, I mentioned on my website, if you guys need something specific, just reach out to me via Instagram or Facebook, and I can get you that product. So, but yeah, people are talking about Comore. Yeah, they're the leading pump manufacturer in the world, I believe. Um, so my store is online, reefautomation.net. I will type it for you guys. I will have to agree with Rob to a point. Rob just mentioned their app. Um, the new app for their new product is much better than um, than their older app. So, is it the best? No, but it is better. Um, Mobius app. Oh boy. Yeah, so check out the new app when it comes out. I don't know if it's come out yet. Maybe that's why you guys probably haven't seen it. But there's a new app for the wireless pump that I was using, and I think it's pretty good. As an app developer, I can tell you there's a lot of people and a lot of products out there that have just terrible apps. Um, one being ReefBot. That's the worst app there is. Uh, Mobius 2.0. Yeah. Oh boy. Here comes the ReefBot stuff. Oh boy. I started a trend again. Anyway, let's see. Is there any other questions? Been about an hour. I mean, I got some time, but see if there's any other questions I can answer. Send me your core overview shirt. Absolutely not. Hydros come to Papa. Manny needs to win. Manny, didn't you just win last week or the week before? By the way, guys, if you haven't seen it, 2 weeks ago I had Terrence on, and that was a lot of fun. Um, it was interesting because to me, I thought I was grilling him, but he says I didn't grill him. I'm like, I thought I was grilling him. Well, I can't sell the Hydros and Neptune shirts, Dave, if they don't sell them to the public. I wish I could. I will find out. I will talk to the higher ups and see if I can sell that product. Oh, they do? Okay. Well, I can tell you that running the website is a lot of work. So if there's things that you want on the website, including shirts, reach out to me and I will try to get them on the site. If they are selling all this stuff, then I am unaware of it. I will have to look. PNW Reefer, you missed a lot, my friend. Thank you, Robert. Robert said it was a great interview. Like I said, uh, it was what, about 2 hours, I think, and I, I had a number of questions. I thought I asked him the questions, and I don't know if I was able to ask all the questions that I wanted to, but I thought it was fun to have Terrence on. I really did. Um, Being as, I've always said that I love Neptune. You guys know I love Neptune, even though I'm wearing Coral View, and I'm really, really happy with the Coral View product. I've always been a fan of Neptune, and I've always been a fan of what Terrence did for Neptune. Again, some of you don't know Terrence personally like I do. Um, it's unfortunate that there was a lot of negativity that came out um, you know, when he left Neptune, because a lot of people just don't know him as a person. Okay, so again, it was fun for me to have him on and discuss how he's doing. So, thank you, JCS. JCS said you always have good streams. That's awesome, man. And even when I'm by myself, I try to come up with fun stuff to talk about. Um, it's about to be 17-3. Vikings, go figure. Man, the Bears suck. Uh, I got a Bears thing here. Yeah, I'm a big Bears fan. So, any other questions before we do the contest? I know a lot of people are waiting for the contest. So, if there's any other questions, I want to make sure I answer them um, before we do the contest. Connor's saying, talk about the Hydros ATO kit. Yeah, the ATO kit is awesome. I got it when I first bought my Hydros back in October of 2020. I bought the ATO kit at the same time. I didn't end up using it because, I had no need for it. So I gave it to um, Desert Reef, you know, um, and I went to his house and it had all sorts of stuff all over it, and it was still working great. Uh, Yes, I still do free shipping for anything under $100, and I don't charge sales tax. And most most Neptune products I have to order because it's been difficult to get stock on them. I think all of you guys know why. But almost everything else I either have in stock or I can get. So, with the exception of what I discussed earlier, Focustronic is impossible to get. Uh, Max spec gyre controllable with Hydros. I don't know, actually. I have not. I sell max spec also. I haven't used a max spec gyre in years. I used to have one on my smaller reef tank, and I gotta say I really loved it. But there was always the fact of cleaning it that I dreaded. Ugh, I love the max spec gyre and what it does, but man, it was so tough to clean. Ah, okay, through the wave engine. I got to learn more about that wave engine. I'm still getting used to Hydros, really getting used to how everything works with it. That's why I don't consider myself an expert in it. Um, but I'm learning slowly with all those workshops that they have and all the videos they have. Hopefully, I can make more videos. But it's good that you guys are teaching me also. What color are the drive ports? They're orange. Is this a test, Dave? Sorry, I know Dave, so I'm giving him crap. Yeah, I love the Max Spec gyres. I think they're fantastic pumps. But yeah, it's tough to clean them. I mean, that's the problem with them. They get gunked up really easily. Yes, free shipping over $100. Thank you, Manny's. If I said free shipping under 100, that's really interesting. Yeah, if you get a lot of stuff, I'm gonna charge you for shipping. Trying to think if there's anything else cool that I can to tell you about. I do recommend for you guys that are gear junkies out there to look at my Instagram on what I did with the reptile room. And the reason I posted it on my Instagram because it's probably one of the coolest things I think I've ever done in my house. I didn't want to make a video on it because it's not reef related, but I think it's really cool what I did. And again, the TDS meters, I can't tell you how happy I am. I mean, I'm over the hill happy that I have TDS meters now. Like, seriously. Well, Chris, that's a good question. Chris, if you take a look at my Instagram, you'll see I have a ton of reptiles. The enclosure that I made, which I spent the last 3 weeks making, is a 10 by 7 enclosure outside that I'm housing a tegu in. And it was a lot of work. I think I just finished it yesterday. Um, and it was so much work. I couldn't move for like half of the week. Uh, yeah, Marcus's Reef. I quit using gyres because I dreaded cleaning them. Awesome flow. That's really hard to beat, but I've always loved how easy the vortex. I totally agree with that. Scuba, if you win, I will let you know because I know who you are. Oh, nice. I breed snakes and geckos as a business. That's really cool. Yeah, Chris, take a look at my Instagram photo of what I did. Reef Automation at Reef Automation. But someone had asked earlier about reptile hobby being more fun or more exciting, I guess, than the aquarium hobby, right? And I can tell you that without a doubt, the reptile hobby is much cheaper, um, much more engaging in terms of a daily type thing because you have to feed them live food and you have to watch them and make sure they're okay and you can hold them, which is very nice, and you can play with them. Um, but it is significantly easier to take care of them. Like for instance, I got a snake. I never had a snake in my entire life. I'm going to be 40 years old next month, and I never had a snake. I've never had a reptile until this year. And you feed them once a week. That's it. Hasted, it is definitely, without a doubt, not more time consuming. However, I'm crazy and I have a lot of reptiles, so it is very time consuming. And then again, I work at home, so it's not a big deal for me. Um, let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video on the reptile room, guys, because my channel is dedicated to reefing, and it will always be dedicated to reefing. I have so much experience in reefing. I've been doing it since I was 6 years old. I've had tons of fish tanks. I've had tons of fish. I know a lot more about reefing. If I really wanted a reptile channel, it would be a completely separate entity. And unfortunately, I just don't have the experience and I don't feel comfortable going online and telling people things about reptiles that I don't have experience on. I just don't think that's the right thing to do. I started this channel because I felt like my knowledge would be helpful to people and I have the experience. But as for reptiles, I just don't think that would be the right thing for me to do. Um, let's see. Reptile automation. It's funny because that's basically what I'm doing. All my snakes are babies, Mikey, so they're all really small. I keep a python for my girlfriend. That's fantastic, Rob. Reef by the Sea said controller for Reptile. I actually spoke to Neptune and wanted to design a Reptile controller back in the summer, I would say, and they denied it. Oh, there goes the camera again. Ugh. JB, you hit the nail on the head. That's kind of what Neptune came back with me on. They said that automation in Reptile is just not there. And the reason it's not there, guys, is because the reptile hobby is so much cheaper than our hobby. I mean, you could set up a whole entire system for a pet for under $50, and it'll live a fantastic life. Dale, what is your favorite HYDROS device? I really love these TDS meters. I got to be honest. I'm so high on these TDS meters. It's just the biggest thing that's helped me. Also, having the single wireless plugs are really cool, I think, for very specific things. Um, do I have any good uses for the smart plug? Well, I'm using it for my lights in certain areas because you can put them on timers. So maybe Santa will bring me a new camera. Yeah, this camera. Yeah, a lot of people want to design a reptile controller because the reason they don't want to do it, and I would do it if I could afford it, is because there's no money in it. I mean, let's be honest. People in the reefing hobby have thousands of dollars invested into their tank, whereas a reptile, they have 50, $100 invested, right? Why should I go out and buy a, $300 controller for it? I have been begging for the TDS meters, and once I saw them, I was like, should I get them? Should I get them? And then I pulled the trigger, and I was like, oh, these are the greatest things I've ever had. Oh my god. All right, Robert, I'm gonna go with you on this because we're at about an hour and a half. Uh, anyway, we got some jokers in here now. Oh, the Senai is just a piece of trash. I'm sorry. I don't mean to put it down, but it's probably one of the worst controllers ever made. Um, anyway, all right. We're gonna give out a HYDROS system to someone, some lucky winner tonight. I mentioned earlier it's gonna be a four plug, a power supply, an XS, which is 4 sense ports, and 2 level sensors. So it'll get you started. Um, I think it's a good little kit. It'll get you started. You might need some other things to, but at least you can play with it and get used to it and add stuff to it. Anyway, also quick, I plugged it enough, but reefautomation.net Free shipping, no sales tax. Most products, I would say about 90% of my products, except for Neptune, are in stock, ready to ship today. I offer all different types of shipping options. Um, and I also offer training. I also offer programming. I offer a bunch of different things, so check it out. All right, so let's do this. So the winner today, and remember, I have a system that just does it for me, is Mr. Lucas Terman. Thurman. Terman. Mr. Lucas Terman. You are the winner of the HYDROS system, which is funny because you have a full Neptune system. So Lucas, I know you're here. You've bought from me before. So man, you won a hydro system. So congratulations, sir. Reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram with your information because I don't know if I have it still. And I'll get that shipped out probably tomorrow, maybe Thursday. I'll try to get it out there before Christmas. You're in Las Vegas, so you should get it by the weekend. Um, I think my devices are unregistered because I removed it from the cloud. But if not, I know Lucas. I'll help him out. I'm not too concerned. Uh, yeah, Lucas will find a way to use the Hydros in some way. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, everybody that came on. Uh, it's been a busy winter for me, and I know I haven't dropped much videos. I've been just so busy, building this reptile cage and doing stuff around the house. I redid my entire garage, but I'm gonna try my best to put out some more videos when I have time. I'm gonna try to continue to do these as every Monday. I do like having guests on, and I do like having my subscribers on my stream as guests. So if you ever are interested to show off your tank, show off what you do, show off your automation, I would love to have you on. So reach out to me. So without further ado, we're gonna get out of here because it's getting late for some of us. So thanks for watching. I hope you had fun and hope you learned about Hydros a little bit more. I give it 2 thumbs up, and I think honestly that Coral View is doing a great job with this product, and I think it's going to really start getting even better as they come out with new products in the future. So you guys have a good evening, and I hope I can see you next week. Merry Christmas to all you guys out there that celebrate Christmas, and hope you have a happy holiday. If I don't see you till the next year, hopefully I'll be on next weekend. But if I'm not, have a happy New Year. Peace.